Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we are going to be talking about the Dallas Mavericks and doing my season preview and prediction. And just to get it out the way, I do think this team is a playoff team. I think they're like a 4 to 5 seed. I don't think they're a play-in team. And I think they did a good job this offseason getting defense. All right. And I think that was a big thing. So I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you guys think of the Dallas Mavericks offseason? And what is your prediction for them this season? I believe that they're going to be a playoff team. And I think Luka is going to be a MVP candidate. And I really think they're going to be one of the contenders. They got a lot of defense, and that was one of the biggest things. So they went 38-44 last year. Brought in Grant Williams, brought in Rashawn Holmes, brought shooting with Seth Curry, got another defender in Dante Exum, drafted Derek Lively, who's going to be a rim-running lob threat, shot-blocking menace, got Olivier Maximus Prosper. He got Mike Miles on a two-way as well as AJ Lewis. I lost him, my apology. And they kept Kyrie. And I think right here, this is a team that, look, the way that they were able to move back, get Lively, shed a bad contract in Davis Bertans, and they even got Holmes. And they got themselves this, Holmes Lively center rotation with Grant Williams now. I do believe that the team that's going to be fun to watch this year is the Dallas Mavericks. And they have a chance to be a team that in transition is going to be really good because they have playmakers to push it. And people forget what they were able to do a few seasons ago when they had the 6th ranked defense. Okay, they went from being one of the better defenses in the league to one of the worst. So I think starting lineup, Kyrie, Luka Doncic, Josh Green, Grant Williams, and probably Dwight Powell to start the season off. Then off the bench, we assume that if Tim Hardaway Jr. stays on the team, he'll be the 6th man, unless Jaden Hardy becomes like really good. Then Seth Curry, Derek Jones, Maxi Kleba, and Dante Exum probably with Derek Lively as well will be providing minutes off the bench. Markieff Morris and Greg Bound I expect to be on the team. I think Joe Wieskamp and Dexter Denton and Jordan Walker will probably just be on the teams like G League. Well, nothing against them, but it's going to be an interesting year for this team because they do need to show that they are capable of being the contenders. And I think they have the roster to do it.
Don't get me wrong, I want to see the Dallas Mavericks have success, and I think Jason Kidd, who people forget, Jason Kidd's known for being a defensive guru head coach. And I've said it before, his coaching staff has gotten smaller and smaller, in terms of the coaches he had during the Western Conference Finals aren't there. So that's why they spent this summer really refocusing on rebuilding this team's front of the bench, you could say. And for me, I think it's definitely a big thing when you look at a team like this, why they need coaches, because they're a team that's going to be relying on switching defense. And what they do is they switch a lot. That's their thing. They switch when they've had success in the past. Because people forget, 2 years ago they were the number 1 defense in the NBA. And that's I'm not joking. That's really, really dead serious. And I think this is a team that definitely, if they continue to work on their perimeter defense, because I think with Rashawn Holmes, with Derek Lively, I think the rim protection is going to be fine. I'm not worried about that whatsoever. What I'm more worried about is, technically, couldn't they go out and try to get Reggie Bullock? But he's been waiting. I have no idea, because Reggie Bullock's been bought out. But they've lost Reggie Bullock. So I wonder if they're going to at least try to this year be a better perimeter defense team. I mean, I'm not saying if they were able to trade Tim Hardaway Jr. for Buddy Hield, that Buddy Hield's a better perimeter defender now. But and Luka and Kyrie aren't going to be those guys. But then you look at the other positions. I mean, that's why losing Dorian Finney-Smith was so huge for them. The Mavs just didn't have the perimeter defense to replace it. And I don't think Olivier Maxinen's Prosper, OMP, is going to be that guy either in terms of impact and what they'll bring to the table. But what I do think is the rest of this roster can play league average defense. So last year they were, sixth. First off, scoring wise, they were they were 16th in the league. They were the sixth best offense last year, 24th, fourth defense. And the year that they went to the NBA Western Conference Finals in 21-22, they were the sixth best defense. So I think it's trying to get back to that defensive ways. And I think having Grant Williams will help. I think having Grant Williams and Maxi Kleber are your best defenders. There's Derek Jones, who's a good defender. In theory, Greg Brown should be. Dante Exum's a great one. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, they've got so many defenders. But, hey, I think there's a lot worse things that they could have done. I think they've put themselves in a position where, like I said, Dante Exum, Derek Jones Jr. are guys off the bench that can play defense. Maxi Kleber, Grant Williams, Josh Green. I think right there that's like 5 dudes that can play defense. That's way more than they had near the end of last season. And center-wise, I'm not worried. Derek Lively, Rashawn Holmes, Dwight Powell. I guess a little bit of Markieff Morris sprinkled in there. Never hurt nobody. And yeah, I think this is more just a matter of time in terms of when will this team start clicking. And I think that's both offensively and defensively, as they are a team that I think has struggled with, I guess, the perimeter defense. I mean, rim protection was a problem last year because JaVale McGee sucked. So there's that. But besides that, it really was not as bad as people have presumed. Or the team offensively, I think Kyrie and Luka works. That duo does work without a doubt. And I think as basketball fans, we just need to take in for a second and understand that when teams like the Dallas Mavericks and others go all in for an offensive pairing like Luka and Kyrie, you're giving up a lot of defense, and you got to have the right defensive players there. So I think some might say that this offseason wasn't the most spectacular for the Dallas Mavericks, that they didn't do too much. But I think it's more because they went out and got a lot of defensive players because they've already figured out their offense. And off the bench this year, I think you're going to have, you're probably going to have Jaden Hardy maybe be 6-man. Seth Curry's going to be an offensive guy. He's returning for the second or third time in his career. So I have faith. Don't get me wrong. I have faith in this roster. But let me hear your thoughts down below, guys. But that's basically going to be me.